My cheating wife rushed to kiss me, but I pushed her away in disgust and said, "After you live with our neighbor?" She froze, eyes wide, lips parted, like the words themselves had slapped her. That was the moment it all came crashing down. The lies. The late-night yoga classes. The dinners she swore were just with friends. I didn't find out by accident. I watched. I listened. I learned everything before I ever said a word. This is how I found out my wife was sleeping with a man who waved at me every morning from his front porch. And this is how I made sure neither of them forgot what betrayal costs. My wife, 36F, asked for a break, just to find herself. Turns out she found our damn neighbor, 38M. I, 37M, won out. I don't even know where to start, but I'll try to keep this part straight. I'm writing this half for advice and half because I need to say it somewhere. I can't sleep. I can't eat. I'm sitting in the living room of a friend's apartment I haven't visited in years, staring at the wall like it'll give me answers. We've been married 12 years. No kids yet, though we've been trying for the past couple of years. Trying is funny now that I say it out loud. That word feels like a bad joke. I thought we had a solid marriage. You know, a few arguments here and there, stress from work, family stuff, but nothing major. Nothing that would scream, she's about to nuke everything. A couple of months back, she started acting different. She got into yoga fine, that's cool, but suddenly she's buying these tight outfits and going at weird hours. Then came the wine nights with the girls. Every Friday like clockwork. Except the stories didn't always match up. One week she was at Olivia's, next week it was I meant Melissa's. I noticed she started taking longer showers, especially before those girls' nights. She started sleeping with her phone under her pillow. Password changed. I asked her about it once, just gently, and she snapped. Told me I was being paranoid and controlling. So I backed off. That's what you do when you love someone. You trust them, even when your gut is screaming. And then came the infamous, I need to find myself talk. She poured 2 glasses of red wine, her go-to manipulation tactic, now that I look back, sat me down, and gave me a speech. Said she was feeling lost and stagnant, like our marriage had made her forget who she was. Claimed she wasn't talking about divorce, just space, just in time to figure herself out. I asked her if there was someone else. She got real quiet, shook her head, swore up and down that she wasn't cheating, she just needed clarity. Said I was a good man, and this wasn't about me, it was about her. I didn't believe her, but I didn't have proof. Not then. So like a fool, I agreed to the break. She packed a bag and moved into her sister's for a while, or so she claimed. And now, looking back, I see it all so damn clearly. The signs. The lies. The way she never once cried when she left. What I didn't know then, what I found out 2 weeks later, is that she wasn't with her sister. She was with our neighbor. I didn't go looking for the truth, not at first. But it came for me. About 2 weeks into this so-called break, I was driving back from work when I saw her car, parked in his driveway. At first, I thought, hoped, maybe she was just dropping something off. But the car was there at 8 p.m., then again at 10, and again the next morning when I left for work. Still there. That knot in my gut that I'd been ignoring since her yoga obsession started? It snapped tight. Our neighbor, let's call him Rick, is a divorced guy, works in landscaping, decent enough on the surface. We'd had a few backyard beers over the years, nothing deep. I'd helped him fix a fence panel once. We were neighbors, not friends, but not enemies. The kind of guy you wave at on your way to work. But now I started to see the pattern. The timing. His casual drop-ins when I was mowing the lawn. The way he'd offer to help her carry in groceries when I wasn't home. One time I caught him standing a little too close to her at a block party. She just laughed it off, said I was imagining things. Of course she did. Still, I needed something real, not just feelings. So I did what any betrayed man with a shred of self-respect would do. I started watching. I waited until I knew she was inside Rick's house again, her car out front, lights on in his kitchen. Then I took a walk, casually passed by, and through the half-drawn blinds, I saw them. She was sitting on his lap, laughing, drinking wine, wearing the hoodie I bought her on our anniversary. I felt something in me rupture right then. Not like an explosion. No, this was quieter, colder. Like a pipe freezing solid until it cracks. I walked home in a daze, didn't even remember crossing the street. The next day, I installed a voice-activated recorder in her car. Took me 5 minutes. She always leaves it unlocked, because apparently, betrayal makes you forget basic security. And yeah, that night, I hit play, and there it was. Her voice. His voice. their laughter, their plans. They were mocking me. She joked about how free she felt now. Said, "Brian's sweet, but he's so boring. I need passion, not spreadsheets." That one stuck. Cut deeper than I thought words could. And Rick? He just laughed and said something about how she deserved a real man. I won't lie. I sat there in the garage for 2 hours listening to the whole recording. Every word carved into my ribs like a blade. After that, I checked our cell phone bill. Hundreds of texts. Dozens of late-night calls. They started months before the break. During lunch breaks, weekends I was working. Even nights she claimed she was at her sister's. It was all there in cold, unfeeling data. You know what it's like to find out your reality was fake? That your marriage, your home, your future was just a shell? It's like drowning in concrete. Slow, heavy, final. She didn't just cheat. She planned it, laughed about it, lived in it. And worst of all, she still came home, kissed me on the cheek, made dinner like everything was normal. Like I was the backup plan. But I wasn't going to be the fool in her little fantasy anymore. The next night, she showed up unannounced. Said she missed me and wanted to talk. She rushed to kiss me. I stepped back, looked her dead in the eye, and said, "After you live with our neighbor?" She froze, eyes wide, like a child caught red-handed with a hand in the cookie jar. And just like that, the confrontation began. She froze mid-step, still holding that fake, trembling smile. My words hit her like a backhand, clean, silent, and utterly devastating. "After you live with our neighbor?" Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. She blinked, took a half step back like I'd struck her. Then came the first lie, almost on instinct. What? What are you talking about?" "I don't. What do you mean?" I didn't answer right away. Just walked over to the kitchen counter and picked up the envelope I'd prepped earlier, cell phone logs, a thumb drive with the recording from her car, and a few photos I took on my phone through Rick's window. I set it down in front of her like a surgeon placing a scalpel on the tray. She didn't touch it, just stared at it like it might explode. "That's you," I said. "That's him. That's your voice. You called me a boring accountant and told him I was too dumb to notice. You said you needed passion. Something raw. That's what you said, right?" "Brian," she whispered. Her voice cracked. Her mask slipped. Then, of course, came the waterworks. No, you're twisting this. It's not what it looks like." Yes, I was confused. I've been going through so much. You've been so distant lately, and Rick was just there. I didn't mean for it to happen. We never planned anything. I smiled. That calm, deadly kind of smile you find in courtroom dramas and revenge fantasies. The one you practice in your head but never think you'll get to wear. "So you didn't mean to sleep with him 3 times in 1 week while I was at work?" Her tears stopped like a faucet being shut. That told me more than anything. She hadn't expected me to know everything. She thought she could spin it, twist it, cry her way back into control. But she had no idea how deep I'd gone. She dropped onto a chair and buried her face in her hands. "I didn't want to hurt you," she mumbled. "It just happened. I was feeling so lost, and Rick made me feel seen." "Seen?" I said, laughing. "You think that makes this better? That guy watched me shovel his driveway last winter while he was probably novel my wife. And now you want sympathy because you felt seen." She looked up then. Anger started replacing guilt. "Oh, come on, Brian. You're acting like a saint. Do you even realize how emotionally absent you've been? You bury yourself in work, and you expect me to just sit here like a houseplant." And there it was, the deflection. She cheated, lied, betrayed everything. And now it was my fault. I walked to the door, opened it, and looked back. "You need to leave." Her mouth dropped. "Brian, where am I supposed to go?" "Maybe ask Rick. I'm sure he's got room next to his lawnmower." "Don't do this," she pleaded. "Let's talk. I love you. I made a mistake." "No," I said, and my voice was ice. "A mistake is burning the toast. A mistake is forgetting our anniversary. What you did was calculated, repeated, and gleeful. You made fun of me while sitting in another man's lap." I watched the fight drain out of her then. Her shoulders slumped. She picked up her purse, looked around like she might still wake up from this. I said one last thing before she walked out. "If you contact me again, it better be through a lawyer." And I closed the door behind her. The sound of that latch sliding into place might be the single most satisfying sound of my life. After she left, I didn't cry. Not right away. I sat there for maybe an hour, staring at the front door like she might come back and apologize, right? Not to lie again. Not to explain. Just to admit it, clean and simple, like a criminal finally tired of running. But she didn't come back. Instead, the silence settled in like dust on old furniture, thick, suffocating. The walls felt like they were leaning in. The house, our house, suddenly wasn't mine anymore. It was just the container for a dead memory. A hollow thing wrapped in wedding photos and throw pillows that still smelled like her perfume. You want the truth? I hated her. I loved her. And I missed her all at once. That's the part no one warns you about. Betrayal isn't clean. It doesn't just hurt, it confuses. You grieve someone who's still alive. Still out there, probably laughing with the man who took your place, while you try to remember if the last 12 years even mattered. I couldn't eat for the first 2 days. Coffee became my entire diet. My stomach was a knot of nausea and adrenaline. I'd go to brush my teeth and end up dry heaving in the sink. I went back and listened to the recording again. Like an idiot. I don't know why I did that. Maybe I was hoping I misheard it. Maybe I needed to hear it enough times to burn the pain into callus. Whatever the reason, it worked. By the 5th listen, the tears finally came. I sobbed like a man who realized he was the last to know his own life was a lie. And let me tell you, there's nothing noble about it. There's no music playing in the background, no epiphany. Just you on the bathroom floor, shaking and whispering why to no one. The nights were the worst. Every creak in the house reminded me of her laugh. Every silence reminded me of the way she'd hum when she did the dishes. I stopped going into the bedroom. Slept on the couch with the TV on low just to drown out the memories. A few days in, I started getting texts from people who'd heard something. Not the full story, just whispers. A cousin asking if Janet and I were okay. A coworker noticing I looked like hell. I ignored most of them, but I did call my sister, and that's when it all spilled out. She cried with me. Then cursed Janet so hard I thought she'd start a fire through the phone. She offered to come stay with me. I said no. I needed to face this alone. To sit with the wreckage long enough to know where the blood was really coming from. Eventually, something in me shifted. The sadness cooled. Hardened into something colder. Focused. I started making lists. Step 1. Lawyer. Step 2. Financials. Step 3. Change the locks. Step 4. Take back my name, my space, my dignity. Rage can be ugly. But clarity? That's lethal. And once you get a taste of it, there's no going back. She had tried to break me. She had tried to turn me into the passive, wounded man who'd cry and beg and maybe forgive her for a second chance. But she underestimated one thing. I wasn't raised to grovel. I was raised to rebuild. After the crying, the numbness. After the numbness, the planning. A week after I confronted her, I walked into the office of a divorce attorney, recommended by a friend who'd been through his own hell. The guy didn't smile much. Looked like someone who hadn't enjoyed a movie since the 90s. But he listened. Asked sharp questions. Took notes like a man preparing for war. When I handed him the flash drive with the audio recording and the printouts of the texts I pulled from her synced iPad, he raised an eyebrow. You sure you're ready to go nuclear? I didn't blink. She started this. I'm just ending it. He nodded and said the words that finally gave me breath. She won't know what hit her. We filed under adultery. That mattered in our state. Opened up leverage, especially since I had hard evidence and she had nothing but smeared lipstick and a neighbor with a half-decent lawn. While the papers were being drawn up, I got to work. Changed every password. Separated the bank accounts. Froze the credit card she used for work expenses that were probably spent on wine and hotel rooms. Packed up her remaining things into boxes and dropped them off at Rick's porch. Didn't knock. Just left them there in the rain. She texted me that night. I just want to talk. Please. You don't understand what I was going through. Can't we fix this? Fix this? You put a crack in the foundation and watched it fall like a spectator at a demolition site. Now you want to talk about blueprints? I replied with 4 words. Talk to your lawyer. And then I blocked her. A few days later, I made a call to her HR department. Told them about the affair with a married coworker, who also happened to be our neighbor and her subordinate in a recent consulting gig. I didn't lie. Just presented the facts. You'd be surprised how quickly a corporate structure moves when the words ethics violation and external investigation get dropped. And yeah, maybe that was petty. Maybe it was revenge. But I wasn't about to let her land softly after tossing a grenade into my life. Then came the kicker, the one she didn't expect. She got served. In public. At her favorite cafe. Saturday morning. Brunch with her friends. The papers hit her hand like thunder. She looked up and saw the process server walking away, and then me, across the street. I didn't wave. Didn't smile. Just watched her face collapse in real time. Watch the charade fall apart in front of people who once thought she was the funny one or the strong one. Her phone started blowing up minutes later, but I wouldn't know until someone forwarded me the group chat screenshots. Turns out betrayal doesn't play well with mimosas and avocado toast. She moved in with Rick full-time. The neighbors know. Some still wave politely. Others, not so much. The guy 2 houses down used to coach my kid brother's little league team. He gave me a firm handshake and said, "You handled that with class, man." That meant more than I expected. She tried reaching out again, this time through mutual friends. The usual lines, "He's changed." She's confused. Maybe they rushed into it. But she wasn't confused when she slipped into another man's bed and laughed about it while I cooked dinner for one. Let her live in the choice she made. The last time I saw her was at the mediation hearing. She looked thinner, tired, still beautiful, but in that wilted kind of way, like a flower someone forgot to water. She tried to smile at me across the table. I didn't return it. I signed the final papers without a word. And when I stood to leave, I told her quietly, "You could have had everything with me. Instead, you settled for a man who doesn't lock his front door." It's been 8 months since the divorce was finalized. She and Rick are still together. Or at least they were, last I heard. Word gets around. Apparently, he's already been caught texting some woman from his gym. And Janet? She's not posting as much anymore. Her once daily motivational quotes about healing and finding your truth kind of stopped. Maybe she ran out of people who cared. Maybe the mirror started talking back. But that's not my concern anymore. I sold the house. Too many memories baked into the walls. Moved across town into a smaller place, one I picked out with quiet in mind. Big windows. Clean lines. I sleep better here. Cook for myself. Work out more. Hell, I even started painting again, something I hadn't done since college. Turns out rage is a decent muse, but peace is a better one. I don't date much. A few here and there. But I'm not chasing anything right now. Not a person, not an idea. Just learning how to be me again, without the weight of someone else's shadows clouding my light. People ask if I'd ever forgive her. The honest answer? I don't hate her. Not anymore. I hate what she did. What she chose. But hate is heavy. It's fire without fuel. What she gave me, through all the lies, the betrayal, the wreckage, was something no honest marriage ever could. Clarity. She showed me exactly who she was. And I showed her exactly what I'm made of. If you're reading this and going through something similar, here's what I'll tell you, not as advice, but as a man who's walked through the fire and lived to tell the tale. Don't ignore your gut. When the little things stop adding up, they're probably leading somewhere dark. Don't beg someone to love you the way you already love them. That's not romance. That's slow suicide. Gather your facts. Be still. Move smart. Rage fades. Receipts don't. Revenge doesn't have to be loud. Sometimes, the best revenge is peace, silence, and a life so damn good they can't look at it without regret. I lost the woman I thought I'd grow old with. But I found something better, myself. I'm not broken. I'm rebuilt. Stronger in the places that cracked. And now? I'm no one's fool. Not anymore.